man in charge of the action when the bell rings, referee Armando Garcia. All right, fight fans, here we go, and here are your combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 137 pounds. From Caracas, Venezuela, he takes a professional record of 38 victories, 2 losses, and 2 defeats into the ring this evening. 27 big victories coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, he wears the white trunks trimmed in black, and tonight fights from the blue corner. I give to you the former 2-time WBA champion of the world, Eloy Rojas. His opponent stands in the corner to my left. He fights tonight from the red corner. From Ponce, Puerto Rico, he weighed in at a ripe weighing pounds of 137 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, with a professional record of 33 victories, 6 defeats, 3 draws, 8 victories coming by way of knockout. He wears the white trunks, and tonight, fighting from the red corner, introducing Quiles. Once again, here is referee Armando Garcia with your last minute instructions. 10 rounds, and these are your lightweights.
Every mouthpiece.
So Armando Garcia tries to get his fighters
Ricky,
over there
pay attention. It'll be English with you and Spanish with him, okay? We had a nice talk in the dressing room. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. I'll accept punches right here, nothing lower, okay? Eloy, hablamos en el camerino, español contigo, inglés con él, ¿ok? Voy a aceptar los golpes aquí, pero no más bajo. Obedéceme en todo momento y protégete en todo momento, ¿ok? Esto está bien aquí, a little bit low down here, but this is okay, all right? Buena suerte, good luck, touch gloves, toque guante.
All right, both guys decked out in very light trunks. Quiles is actually a very light blue as you take a look at the tail of the tape, Dave.
Quiles is 33. He is 3 years younger than Rojas. The major stats are the same, except Rojas has a 3-inch reach advantage, and we've seen in some other fights, reach can be a huge edge. We'll see if it is here.
All right, so we're set to go with round number 1. This is scheduled for 10. This is in the lightweight division. Lightweight division, actually 135-pound division. These guys in a couple of pounds over that at 137. Quiles is in trunks that look white on your screen, but they're actually a very light blue. So if you want to fine-tune your sets, folks, fine-tune them. And the guy with a little bit of red on his shoes is Quiles. Quiles hails from Lorain, Ohio. Has a record of 33-6, 3 draws, 8 knockouts, so he's not a power guy. You don't need me to tell you that. He did have one terrific fight against a guy that you may know, Diabeles Hurtado, former world champ, and he had Hurtado down in that fight, so he has some sort of power. And Eloy Rojas is a former world champion at age 36. He would just love to get one more shot at a title. This is his 3rd fight in the United States this year. He beat the Korean at 126 and then went on to defend that title 7 times before he lost to Wilfredo Vasquez in 1996. So it's been a dry spell as far as the world titles for him, but he feels like fighting here on the Warriors boxing that he's got a good shot at getting a lot of activity and getting back in action, and that's what he wants to do. You notice right away that Quiles is a southpaw. Southpaw doing a pretty good job holding Rojas off so far.
He's doing a nice job with the movement and frustrating what Rojas would need to do. And against the lefty, you want to throw the lead right hand, you want to throw the double left hook, and you want to keep your lead foot outside the lead foot of the lefty and try to keep him going in small circles so that you can get off that way and change the direction of the shots and keep him in good range. And the lefty obviously just wants to do the opposite.
Quiles has just signed, by the way, himself with Warriors Boxing, and that spells a great opportunity in his first fight here to fight a former world champion, Eloy Rojas, because a victory for him in this scheduled 10-round affair would immediately vault him into the situation where people would be interested in seeing him in some serious prize fights.
You talk about at the top of the show about the 1 fight a year announced for 2004. You're going to get fighters now scrapping to get into that schedule. They're going to keep themselves in the gym more. There's activity for them. It's lined up, and Quiles is an example of that, a guy that was off and now wants to get back and make a run through that whole program.
Quiles has been sparring here in Florida with Zab Judah, and I asked him how he handled the speed of Zab. He said, you know something, I think I got as much speed. But, you know, fighters, well, he looked pretty good throwing that left hand there, didn't he, the southpaw, Quiles? But if you can hang in there and show some speed with Zab Judah, you're amongst the very best, because Zab has got really fast hands.
You hang in with Zab Judah, and everybody else is going to be a plodding type of a fighter to you when you get in the ring. And that's why it's good to go in with a guy who will be faster than the opponent you'll fight.
So at 36 years old, for Quiles at age 33, he's got to get it done in a hurry. Here's the bell to end round number 1.
Come play in the Creek, Seminole Coconut Creek Casino. It's the serious hot machine players place. And now exclusively at Seminole Casinos, voted best machines by Casino Player Magazine. All your favorites, Double Diamond, Red, White, and Blue, Wild Cherry, and 5 times pay. Play them only at Seminole Casinos, located at 441 and Sample Road in Coconut Creek. What are you waiting for? Come play in the Creek.
Well, Dave, there he is, Ricky Quiles, and he's won the first round. In my opinion, Rojas didn't do enough.
A good movement by Quiles, and excellent use of his hands, excellent use of his feet, and he was basically on top of the speed element.
All right, we'll see how it goes as we come up to round number 2. Bob Sheridan with Dave Bontempo. Mark Goldberg handling some of the color around ringside for us tonight. Ricky Quiles to the right of your screen, the former world champion, Eloy Rojas, who's going to get a lot busier if he's going to do anything. You know, it's amazing to me that Quiles looks so much bigger. He's only an inch taller, but he's got about 3 inches advantage in reach, and he's trying to use that, getting that right jab in the case of the southpaw in the face of Eloy Rojas.
And good head movement here by Quiles as Rojas tries to stalk him down and find an opening for that lead right hand. Instead, he tries to hook here. Rojas is trying to not be a follower here. He would like to cut off the ring, and with Quiles' movement, he's preventing that.
You know, why don't we know more about Quiles with a record of 33-6 and 3 draws and, you know, a dandy of a record for lightweight. He's been off for 3 years with management problems, and he just signed with Warriors Boxing. And he claims now that he's in the best shape of his life. And in spite of the fact that he says he's 33, he's got a couple of years, and he says because he didn't have the tough fights the last 2 or 3 years, now at this stage in his career, it becomes an advantage instead of a guy that's taking a lot of punishment.
Hasn't taken the punishment. What you have to do is get in the gym enough so that you get your reflexes back. And he believes he's done that. And he'd like to fight 6 times in 2004, provided that he could get a good one tonight. So this is a real test for Quiles, and he's got the adrenaline of a guy starting over.
You know, one time Rojas had a record of 21 straight knockouts. He had an excellent left hook. You saw the left hook there, but Quiles with his head movement ducked underneath it. I mean, Rojas was a terrific champion back a few years ago. He retired in 1996 himself, then he came back in 99. He had 3 fights, all of which he won, then he retired again. And this time he's had a couple of fights. This is his 3rd fight since retiring. And he said, well, you know, just like I said at the very top of the show about Hector Camacho, what do guys do when they get into the mid to late 30s, and in Camacho's case, into his 40s, and when they retire? Well, they're boxers. All they can do is fight for the most part, and that they didn't prepare for any sort of retirement. And guys from the Latin countries probably didn't make a lot of money during the course of their career, in spite of the fact they were champs. They want to give it always one last shot.
That's why I have to admire Marvin Hagler, one of the only guys to retire once.
Well, if you want to go back a few more years, Rocky Marciano had a pretty good idea.
Yeah, but when we came into the money era of the 80s and with casinos coming in, guys were encouraged to come in there and take another stab because the money was better than when they were in their prime.
Well, Warriors Boxing, of course, wanted Camacho to fight here and hopefully have another fight here because they feel, of course, he's one of the big-name stars over the years. The right hand gets through by Quiles and bounces the head back of Rojas and into the closing seconds of the 2nd round. There's the bell. Quiles has landed a couple of shots as the crowd looks on here at the Seminole Casino at Coconut Creek. But, Dave, I don't think Rojas is busy enough.
And that's why Quiles is getting braver and expanding his arsenal. with his shots. He's taking more liberties against Rojas. Rojas to stop that with the lead right hand.
When he came in tonight, he saw the programs located all around the tent area. If you
Take a
look
look
at those
at Quiles
programs,
on the aggressive end. There he takes a shot, one of the few that he took. But he comes back, gets on his feet, and will get aggressive back. There's the lead right hand we're talking about for Rojas. That's what he would like to come back to time and again. It works against the lefty.
By the way, this fight is sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission. It's a 10-point must scoring system. There's no standing 8 count. There is a 3 knockdown rule in the state of Florida, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round or get in any accident, headbutts, or anything. We'll explain it to you as we go along. Eloy Rojas with the black trim on his white trunks, and in the very light blue trunks is Ricky Quiles.
Rojas trying to sneak the right hand in again, and now Quiles trying to mug him on the inside.
Also, to keep straight, Rojas is the guy that has the black shoes, and the guy with the red shoes, at least the red trim on them, is Quiles. So, in one of these fighters, you can follow him a little bit better. Now Quiles tries to pick up the action as Rojas wanted to start the round off fast with the southpaw. Quiles is the one who's doing most of the throwing, and as I say that, Rojas gets busy on the inside here.
Rojas took the rust off the gun here in this round. He's throwing some right hands to the body. He's opening it up a little bit faster. He's into a different type of a flow, and he's also helped Quiles turn it up another notch.
This is round number 3. It's scheduled for 10. A little bit over the lightweight division limit of 135 as they both come in at 137. They had a contract, give or take 2 pounds, and they both took the 2 pounds.
Hey, you don't see the give part of those contracts used too much. You just see the take. They always say they're 137, give or take a couple.
Well, the one thing that's important in terms of that for Quiles is that he has been in the gym for a good 3 months. He's got himself in terrific shape at age 33. He wants to get it done right away. The heads came together, and you see referee Armando Garcia right on top of that saying, hey, come on, guys, watch the heads now. When you get the southpaw and the right-handed fighter, and especially if there's a little height difference, oftentimes with the amount of bobbing and the head movement that we see by Quiles, the heads can come together.
And you get a guy trying to position himself on the inside, trying to set up his punch and get down lower maybe, and that's when the heads clash. Almost had it again.
You're right, and Rojas is a very, he's not as busy as I thought he'd be, but he's a guy that gets into a second gear. You get clipped by a looping left hand, but no power behind that time at all. But it's got the adrenaline flow going for Quiles. Rojas is having his best round thus far. A lot of movement by Quiles, but he's not landing a lot. He's got the jab out there, but it's falling short.
Well, this is now looking like the stylistic matchup that it appeared to be on paper based on their records, with Quiles using the ring and Rojas trying to cut it off. Quiles took liberties on him early, but now Rojas is trying to make this a battle on the inside for himself.
You wonder how much a guy that's retired twice really wants to fight, but when you're out of the ring, sometimes that gives you that little bit of idea that, especially when you live in Caracas, Venezuela, it's a tough life down there in the streets in Caracas unless you have money, and so he wants to get another title shot, and he's giving it a best go here in this lightweight fight with Ricky Quiles. It's been the best round for Rojas thus far. In fact, I think Rojas has won the 3rd round. It's a best ending round.
A lot more aggression from Rojas. His timing looks a lot better, and he's into a better flow than he was in the opening round.
Dave, you talked about the Seminole Indians. They've got these casinos in Tampa and Immokalee and Brighton, and the new one that opens up in Hollywood. And the Hollywood Casino is a co-sponsor of this series here with Warriors Boxing. I mean, it's just flowing great. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get the flowing combination here for you.
Well, there's Rojas with the lead right hand. We talked about that's how to fight the lefty, and he's gone to that weapon a lot more in the 3rd round as Quiles was susceptible to it. As Quiles comes at him and comes back in a counter, he's countering Rojas, who found a home for that lead right hand in the 3rd round. He did a good job with that.
Now that's the experience of Eloy Rojas and why we gave him, at least I did in the 3rd round. I think you may agree with me. Yeah. Okay, and here we go, and let's see if Rojas can keep the pace going now and take it away from this younger guy, Ricky Quiles. When I say younger, he's 33 years of age. So again, he's got to get it done and he wants to get it done tonight. It would be disastrous if he drops his fight to Rojas, or Rojas in equal situation.
Well, now it's interesting because both fighters have shown how they could win this fight. For Quiles, it was the aggressiveness and the lateral movement, and for Rojas, it's the body shot and the lead right hand, which might pay dividends later on in this fight. He's done a good job to the body in round 3 and in the beginning of round 4.
Ricky doesn't want to be drawn into a war with this guy either, because with his movement and just getting his pot shots out there, he can win this fight. He doesn't want to get into a slugfest on the inside with Rojas at this stage in the fight. If I'm fighting a guy at 36 years old and I know that I'm in the best shape of my life, drag him into the later rounds and then try to take your shots. But you see what's happening now is Rojas is so slick that, I mean, he's landing shots on the inside. The crowd likes it. Look at this fight.
Hey, you know, for Quiles, he opened up and he was doing a good job in his mind in the power department. So now he'll fight Rojas' fight. Rojas is happy with that. It's hard to switch gears back after you decide you want to slug.
Well, Ricky's done exactly what I told him that I didn't think was a good idea. He's doing exactly what he wants to do, and that's all right. But you're going to pay the price on the inside when you're fighting a guy with the experience of Rojas. And while he had a dramatic, shot that he landed that brought the crowd to attention, look who's winning this inside battle.
Here's Quiles opening it up. You know, you see it in other sports, a singles hitter hits a couple home runs and he starts swinging for the fences all the time. Ricky Quiles had some early success loading up in rounds 1 and 2, and that's where he wants to stay right now, and Rojas is happy for that style.
Needs to throw that straight left hand right down the middle. When he's throwing the left hand, he's going to the body quite consistently. Needs to come up a couple of times with that left hand, because if it's true for the right-handed fighter fighting the southpaw to throw the right hand down the middle, conversely speaking, for the southpaw to throw that straight left down the middle, you can catch the guy too. He's doing it, but again, to the body. You know, I like to see him come upstairs with this one. That will keep Rojas on it. This is a difficult round to score. This is a good round of boxing, by the way.
Yeah, both guys have been loading up in their power department, taking their best weapons. And for Quiles, his best power shot has been the left hand. He did go upstairs a little bit there. And for Rojas, that right hand to the body.
And there's another left upstairs, and now he's fighting Rojas' fight on the inside. Takes a couple of shots, and it really opens up. Oh, he's there, Rojas! He's hurt it! Quiles has hurt Rojas! We're in the closing seconds of the 4th round. Rojas is actually ready to go. Oh, he's nailed it again! And this is the 4th round. Quiles!
Oh, but he opened up. Practically gave himself a 10-8 round and may get it on at least one of the cards here, as he had a huge onslaught.
Well, you know, Dave, the way I scored that, I'm going to give him the 10-8 round, because the other way I had it scored, I thought it was fairly even. And then this is an example of different judges might see it different ways. What happened was he really hurt Rojas. So as opposed to round 1 and 2, he gave him the 10-9 round that he clearly won. Now we'll show you the ball on the ropes.
And here he comes to play. Quiles with the body shots, he's been working that, and then he finds some room upstairs, and he's able to score with the power shots. Working the body, has Rojas worried about the body. Looks like he's in no hurry to open it up, and then he is. Nice left hand sneaking through, and then Quiles is on overdrive, and Rojas is nearly out. Had Quiles had another minute, he would have been able to finish it.
All right, back with a live shot now here at the Seminole Casino at Coconut Creek. Bob Shorty with Dave Montefo. Mark Goldberg with us, and blood streaming from the nose of Eloy Rojas, the former world champ, who's run into a buzzsaw named Ricky Quiles. Quiles had him in trouble towards the end of the round, and he really should jump on him now, and don't let him recover and recuperate anymore. He had to jump right on him, trying to crack him right in the nose again. Quiles showing a bit of patience here, but boy, everything that I've advised him to do, he hasn't done, and everything that he's doing seems to be working. So I'm not going to instruct you anymore, Ricky. You just do what you're doing. You're doing fine.
Well, you know, that's sometimes a fighter knows when he can throw the textbook out the window. And this fight is sizing up that way for Quiles, because he's been able to get to Rojas early. He decided he could win this fight slugging and then boxing when he felt like it, but he is hungry to stop him now.
Well, the face of Rojas is a mess with blood that's coming from the nose. It's all over his face and around his eyes and whatnot, but it's just a nosebleed. It's messy, but it's not that important right now. It's important for him because if he has a broken nose, in fact, it can be very painful. But that aside, Quiles is just touching him up, doing what he has to do. And all he has to do is land one more big blow on top of that nose, and this guy will have it sitting wide open. Eloy Rojas in the white trunks with the blood all over him and the black trim is a former world champ. With the career and won the 126-pound division championship and defended it 7 times. Always been a real good technical boxer, and it appeared things were reversing in his direction after the 3rd round and into the 4th round, but then you saw what happened at the end of the 4th. Oh, he gets nailed with another left hand. Boy, we talked about that power left for Quiles, and now here's Eloy coming back with a little bit of a second win. Oh, he gets cracked upstairs again, Dave. He's taking some clean shots.
First shots, big ones here by Quiles, and Rojas walking into bomb after bomb here by Quiles, and he may not be a knockout puncher, but he's certainly trying.
Well, he's landing, as Muhammad Ali gets credit for so many knockouts in his career, really TKOs with accumulation of punches. And that's what this kid's doing here now. He's landing a lot of punches. Every once in a while, Eloy reaches down, like all great former champions do. They have that heart of a champion, and they never would have been one. And he's trying his best he can to hang in there, but Quiles is hitting the heavy blows and landing them. Now he resets himself. Not much movement now. He's ready to just bore right in there. He's had the success and he's away from the movement, but he cracked him with another. Remember I said about him coming upstairs with that left hand? He caught him with a nice stiff left hand again.
Well, Quiles had 8 knockouts in 42 fights, but he's fighting like only 8 guys have gone the distance against him.
Big cracking left hand again as we come to the closing seconds of the 5th round. The bell finally ends the 5th round. That's another Quiles round. Boy, this is a good fight.
Yeah, Rojas is making Quiles extend himself, and Quiles is up for this.
Don't forget to check your program. Located inside the program is a letter from the Seminole Indian tribe. And on that letter, Hector Macho Camacho has signed 25 lucky programs. If you are one of those lucky programs, please take that program for your services in the casino. You can show them that lucky program. They will give you a $200 gift basket for all 25.
Here's Quiles drilling Rojas along the ropes. Rojas back with his right hand. Quiles looking for a shot. Just absolute phone booth warfare here. Right up close, exchanging shot after shot, and Quiles gets the best. It just digs in there. Rojas, quite game, but in this case, outgunned.
All right, we get ready to go to the 6th round. Eloy Rojas in the light blue trunks, and I'm almost right in your screen, but he has the red shoes on and the red trim. And the former world champ, Eloy Rojas, is decked out in the, now they're white trunks with red trim, which is blood, and official black trim. See Showtime on the band of Quiles, that's what he calls himself, Showtime. And he's putting on a good show here tonight. They call it the Backyard Brawl Series here at the Seminole Casino in Coconut Creek, and this has been an old-fashioned backyard brawl to this point. This is round 6, it's scheduled for 10. Ricky Quiles has been training with Zab Judah here in Florida, working with Buddy McGirt, who's done a great job training fighters. Buddy, trainer of the year last year.
Yeah, Buddy has really emerged, come into his own as a trainer, relates very well to fighters, having been one and understanding the fighter's mentality and viewpoint. Gets along very well with his fighters.
That's a great kid. This is round 6 as Rojas tries to keep the pressure on Quiles, but it's Quiles who is right in front of him now, getting away from the side-to-side movement that he had in the early going, and now he tries to put pressure on Rojas. Rojas showing a little bit movement, pulls straight back, now steps off to his right, tries to touch him up with the left hand, but can't seem to get through, and Ricky lets go with the looping left hand. And again, that left hand has been more successful since it came up. Nice counter inside shot by Rojas there. Look at this.
It's a Pernell Whitaker move.
Yeah, it sure is. Only Pernell would stay down there for about 10, 15 seconds with that. Remember him fighting Julio Cesar Chavez in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. He was down like that all the time and frustrated the daylights out of Julio Cesar. Julio Cesar Chavez back in the news because he wants to fight the guy we're going to see, Hector Macho Camacho. And while you get two guys that have past their peak meal question, they would still draw hugely in Mexico City. The old battle between the guys from Puerto Rico and the guys from Mexico.
That never dies.
Right now, we got a pretty good prize fight going on right here. Seminole Coconut Creek Casino on Bob Show, Dave Von Temple, Mark Goldberg. Both guys settling into just a very tough fight right now.
Quiles has done a good job boxing and takes an opportunity here with the slugging, but when the slugging wasn't available to him this round, he boxed smartly, and now he's able to shift and load up a little bit.
Closing seconds now, the 6th round, and like the finishing flurries in the previous rounds, look at Quiles go to work now. There's the bell in the 6th round. You know, I thought that Rojas had a chance to win that round. It was one of his better rounds of the fight. In fact, I may still give him the round, but it was certainly his best performance since back in the 3rd round. What do you think, Dave?
Quiles made a bid to steal. I think Rojas may have still held off, but it's showing intensity by Quiles that he wants to finish rounds that strongly. That's an indication of good conditioning. As Quiles on the outside, he's boxing, taking what's being offered, then boom, he's able to change. The left hand gets in. He knows it's the end of the round. Rojas backing up, and Quiles able to shift into a power mode. Gets on the inside and tries to do a lot of good inside work and able to negate. I'll bet the judges split on that round, Colonel, because Rojas did a lot of work, and yet you got to figure at least somebody will give it to Quiles because of his late flurry.
Look down at my score sheet based on the looping hand and the late flurry. I scored it an even round. And my scoring is kind of try to keep our audience that you're watching in line with what I think the judges may do. Mark Streisand, Bill Ray, and Michael Pernick are the official judges here. Okay, Eloy Rojas opens up the 7th round with a nice flurry, mostly taken on the gloves of Ricky Quiles. Quiles right in front of him, shaking that left hand as if to say, this is ticketed for your chin, son. Nice feigning movement, the dip of that left shoulder, then Rojas fires with the right hand straight down the middle of the southpaw. Look at this on the inside. I tell you, Rojas still got it.
Well, Rojas happy that Quiles came right to him, and he showed that he can open it up on the inside. But Quiles, based on the success at the end of last round, just wants to dig that body and continue to go for more. He's showing good conditioning in this fight.
Well, he said himself, and I think I mentioned it, that he said he's in the best shape of his life. Now, what happened there? Did the heads come together? He shouldn't turn his back like that, kid. It's a very dangerous thing to do to a fighter. The guy can get around and sneak around the corner with a blindside shot.
We hear guys talking about being in the best shape of their life, and then some prove it, some don't. But Quiles has come out here and has had a lot of energy to burn late in the rounds, and he's put a lot of combinations together on the inside. We're seeing 8 and 10 punch attempt by him on the inside, and you can't do that without condition.
You know, the thing that I thought in the early going is that he should box this guy because he was out boxing him handily, but you know, at times when he's decided to mix it up, he's shown that his power shots can get this guy in trouble. There's the left hand again, sort of a looping left hand that turned the head. Oh, he got him with a real good left hand that time. Now he comes to the uppercut. Bangs him to the body, straight right hand. Catching him with shots with both lefts and rights. Nice attack by Quiles again.
Don't do that.
Now the referee, Armando Garcia, says, hey, make sure you keep those hands up, don't kid.
Well, they talk about making the other guy uncomfortable. Quiles has slugged when Rojas is used to him boxing, and when Rojas expects the slugging, Quiles goes back to the boxing. He's had a misdirection going on him all night.
You know, if I were Rojas, I'd be thinking the same thing, because everything that I thought that perhaps Quiles should have done, especially early in the fight, he's done the opposite, and it's been successful for him. So the fighter knows what he can do.
And the good thing in this case is that he's been able to go back and forth between the styles. We talked earlier about how a guy's a boxer and then he gets into a slugging mode and never comes out of it. But Quiles has come out of it enough to make his opponent respect both angles.
I'll tell you, even at age 36, Rojas is a slick fighter. He does a lot of sneaky things in there that a lesser opponent than Quiles, who's in this kind of shape, this guy could still get out of there. Rojas is a good boxer, but age has taken just that split-second timing that he had a few years ago away from him. And this is a great opponent for Quiles. This is a great job by a matchmaker, I must say.
Rojas on the inside now. Nice left hand coming through. Watch how he turns into his shots. Nice leverage. Watch the hips. He turns and gets maximum punching ability in terms of his power. Now he hasn't stopped Rojas, but he's having an impact, and his power shots have been enough to keep Rojas honest. And Quiles is getting everything in and throwing a lot of punches, still looking fresh.
All right, here we go. Round number 8. Quiles, 33-year-old kid, just been off for 3 years, got his new management with Warriors Boxing. Got a second win in his career, and he's taking advantage of it against a former world champion, Eloy Rojas, who would like to keep his career going. But these guys, I'm afraid, are in 2 different directions. One coming up with a shot to move into the top 10, and the other maybe slipping down. And while I say that about Rojas, I'm not taking any credit away from him, because he's a crafty old veteran that knows how to box.
But even with that, once you put the word former in front of the champion, a lot of fighters will lose any intimidation factor in there. And that's what's happening. Quiles is on the rise and just taking it to a guy.
Well, he goes downstairs fishing with that left hand. Rojas again would like to draw him inside and fight him on the inside. And when it's happened on a couple of occasions, namely back in the 4th round, it got Rojas in a lot of trouble. And we thought that perhaps Quiles should just go ahead and box on the outside. Right now, he could just box his way out and win this fight. But that's not the nature of a fighter, David. You well know.
Now, we talk about how when you draw it up on X's and O's, that's the easy way to do it. But on the inside and start to have success, the guy doesn't want to jab if he knows he can slug. The real enjoyment and intensity is when you can open it up. You box to be smart, and you slug really a lot of times to win the fight. The brawls, and he's been able to do that.
And of course, the object of professional boxing is to hurt the opponent, different from amateurs. All you have to do is touch the guy up.
Well, when guys box and they don't have power, you have, well, it's hit, don't be hit. But sooner or later, you're going to be hit, and you have to have enough power, at least to keep the other guy honest. This is a perfect example. Quiles doesn't have a lot of knockouts, but he's done enough power to overwhelm this guy.
Yeah, and lesser opponents, he take them out. This is a good, I would say, world-class fighter right now, and it just depends on who he fights as to how far Quiles can go. But again, Rojas, at the stage of his career where he's, got a couple of 3 more years on Quiles, and he's a crafty veteran. This is a perfect fight for Quiles. And coming back, taking on a world champ, a former world champ, you can say what you want, but they're crafty. Especially a guy that can come from Venezuela, becomes a world champ, and took the title in Korea. That's a tall road to hoe in itself. The blood is coming from the nose of Rojas. He was split open back in the 4th round, and while it's not significant, it certainly makes for a mess. Decided 10 seconds to go in the 8th round, and just a nice boxing round for Ricky Quiles. Quiles with his back to you. All right, not the most action-packed round, but a good boxing round for Quiles.
Different way for him to win the fight.
This is the outside of Seminole Casino at Coconut Creek. What a beautiful place. And by the way, folks, up north, this is the place to come in the wintertime. All kinds of bad weather in the north and northeast. Come on down. They've got casinos here in Hollywood, Brighton, Monterey, Tampa. This one here at Coconut Creek, and of course the big one and all the talk is going to be a real showcase of a resort, a destination resort in Hollywood, Florida that's just about complete, ready to schedule to open up in March of next year.
And this reminds me of when Atlantic City began its heyday, and then you had the Midwestern casinos with their heyday, and then you had the casinos in Connecticut, and you have gaming and boxing together with a movement, and this is the beginning of something very special in that gaming boxing dynamic right now.
Well, it works out great for all of us. They get the Seminole tribe of Florida involved with worldwide boxing, and we are around the world. Yolanda Marlowe has done a great job in sales all over the world. We're in, 30, 40 countries on a monthly basis now, which is great for the gaming part of what the Indian reservation and tribe is trying to accomplish for the Seminole Nation. All right, we're in the 9th round. Ricky Quiles in the light blue trunks with the red trim on his shoes. I've got him out in front, 79-73. We're in the 9th round. This is scheduled for 10, and this has been a terrific opening bout here. Really good boxing. It slowed down just a bit. But this is all Quiles really has to do. You know, he doesn't want to get himself in any trouble. He doesn't really need to mix with this guy. That's not the nature of a fighter. He'd like to take him out and knock him out. But right now, if he just outboxes this guy, he can do it.
Now he's got points in the bank earning interest. He's way up here, and he just has to protect and then move laterally and do what's naturally instinctive. Yet he showed a lot of fire in his belly, a lot of passion, and going inside and being able to hold himself together very well during those inside situations. And he came up against a guy where if Quiles wasn't sharp, the guy would have sneaked up and beat him.
Oh, yeah.
And he may be one of these guys that likes the tougher guys when he comes back because it brings up another notch in him.
Rojas is having a pretty good ninth round, but you know, at some stage here with the halfway mark of the ninth round, you'll see Quiles open up again. At least that's what he's done throughout the course of the fight. In the later rounds, Rojas has had pretty good first half of the round, then he seems to slow down a bit, and Quiles tries to attack.
Quiles had the early edge, and then when Rojas began to make a move at the end of round 3, Quiles picked it up the following round and put him in real trouble and turned around the fight for good.
Quiles is fighting like a confident guy in spite of the fact that I still think that Rojas has won the first 2 minutes of this round. He's staying busy enough in there. He's not getting hit with any clean shots. Just sort of being outboxed a little bit right now. Quiles still showing some movement. What's Rojas? He's got to know he's behind in this fight. What's he got to do, Dave?
You know, he has to go in and gamble with the right hand lead. The things we talked about, there's an example of it, but he needs more of that. He has to open up and go after Quiles, and it's there for him because Quiles is intent on technique in this round. As you watch what he's doing with his elbow and his shoulder, he's trying to make sure everything lines up perfectly. And for Rojas, he needed to disrupt the rhythm, and he did not.
Blood trickles from that nostril of Rojas. And this has been a good Rojas boxing round. I think he outboxed Quiles in this round. Well, Quiles landed probably 2 or 3 of the heavier blows as the bell ends the 9th round. Good, tough fight. I've got 3 points separating the two, but don't forget, without a knockdown in the 4th round, I did score that 10-8. I don't know if the judges will go along with that, so it could be a couple of points. So, you know, in reality, in spite of the fact that Quiles has done so well, I had that even round back in the 6th, and then given Rojas this 9th round, on my score sheet was 3 points separating the two. In reality, it could be 2 points, and then you get a knockdown. And,
No, he gonna put some on the
But if that's the case, it's a lot closer to a lopsided fight than I've seen in a long time.
Well, you know what? It's absolutely true. As Quiles opened it up in the middle round and coasting a little bit.
Make no mistake about it, in my opinion, Rojas would need to at least knock Quiles down to win this fight, or at least be right in the fight. He's in the fight, but Quiles has won most of the rounds, there's no question about it, and I think he won that 4th round 10-8.
Why the perception of a lopsided event occurs is because Rojas is waiting on Quiles, and when you're a counterpuncher, it's very difficult to win rounds. He's been waiting for Quiles, hopefully, to make a mistake, and Quiles hasn't made that mistake.
Yeah, I gave Rojas the 3rd round. I gave him the 9th round. I was on my way to giving him the 4th round, and then Quiles pulled that one out. But had he not done that, you know, in that 4th round, you'd have a pretty even fight here.
Yeah, now you're looking at definitely a 2-point fight if that hadn't occurred. That was a big turnaround for Quiles.
Look at this action, though, Dave, here in the 10th round. Both of these guys won. Big left hook landed that time by Rojas, and Quiles stays right on top of him. Now the referee, Armando Garcia, finally separates the two.
Hey, for Quiles coming out of the box, it's not just that he wins, but how he wins tonight. He wants to have a wire-to-wire, nice effort. He wants to show stamina and intensity at the end of the fight and show that he's got good conditioning to carry forward.
We get clipped pretty good on the inside that time by Rojas. Rojas is the consummate professional. Here we are in the 10th round. He's 36 years of age. He's in the fight. And he's winning this round. Quiles may think he has more points in the bank than he really does in reality. He's got the fight won. unless he gets clipped and knocked down. There's no time to horse around with a former world champ with 1 minute and 20 to go in this fight.
And if you're Rojas after this is over, if you lose by, say, 3 points, 4 maybe, you wonder about waiting and just trying to fight in spurts, which is what he's done many times throughout this fight.
But still, there's been a good pace. I mean, these guys haven't been hanging on to each other very much. They've stayed separated. They've thrown a lot of punches in this fight. It's been a busy fight.
All that true, but once that is said, from Rojas' standpoint, he's been the guy that waited a little bit too long in the fight. And it's frustrating for him to know if he goes back and says, you know what, I was sitting there trying to steal the fight at the end. If I had done a little bit more, I could have been fighting to win it in round 10 on points.
35 seconds to go in the fight. See, Rojas still shows the heart of a champion. He is still winging away. Knows he's behind in the fight.
You know what's interesting is if you get a guy with not a big knockout record and he beats the guy with the knockout record, many times that's not an exciting fight. But this time it was.
Yeah, well, this is a really good fight. I thought that we saw southpaw, right-handed fighter, oftentimes sloppy. This time was a nice clean fight all the way. The consummate professional Rojas. And look at this finish. Both guys still winging shots in the closing seconds of the fight. There's the bell, and that ends it. It's all over.
No doubt in Ricky Quiles' mind how this is going to go. I definitely think he took it.
I gave Rojas that last round, and based on that, it's only a 2-round fight. It's really surprising because in calling the fight throughout the course of the fight, I thought Quiles was just it was a one-sided fight.
How about the fact right after he jumps up on the ropes and no doubt in his mind that this is his, so...
well, there's no doubt in our mind either that Quiles has won the fight, but it just surprised me when I told him my score up at the end, but it was as close as what I have it here.
Well, if you go jumping up on the ropes, you don't think you won by 1. You think you won by 5, so who knows?
So we'll find out. We'll wait to make it official for Mark Streisand, Bill Ray, and Michael Pernick, who will have the official scoring. The way Dave and I call the fight is just an indication of the way we see it. And we have Ricky Quiles winning the fight. But I'll tell you this, Eloy Rojas put on a nice show here.
He really did. In the second half of the fight, he had some opportunities. He was able to counter. And then Quiles slowed down a bit. But Quiles, on the overall, this is an excellent way for him to come out of the blocks.
One thing for sure, the crowd in attendance here at the Seminole Casino here in Coconut Creek in Florida, they've enjoyed this fight. That's a good prize fight, believe me.
Hey, you've got a guy 33-6 versus a guy 38-2 and a former champion. And this fight looked like it would be very good on paper, and it worked out that way.
70 wins between the two kids, not too bad. All right, I see our ring announcer, Damian Pinto, is gathering up the score sheets, and as soon as he's set, we'll be set and we'll make this official. All right, there's Damian Pinto in the center of the ring. It looks like he has the scorecards collected. So without further ado, let's go to our ring announcer and get the particulars on this one. Here he is, Damian Pinto.
Ladies and gentlemen, this one goes the distance, and we go to the scorecards. Here are your scores. Judge Ray scores the fight 95-95 even. Judge Pernick scores it 98-92, and Judge Mark Streisand scores this fight 97-93. For your winner by majority decision, Ricky Quiles.
How about that? One judge, Bill Ray, saw it a lot closer than we saw it.
You've got 98-92 and then a draw on the same card. 97-93, I think a little bit closer to where I was with that.
And probably closer to the way I saw the fight too. But that just goes to show you, you just can't let down at all when you're in against a world champ. And obviously, Judge Ray didn't give Ricky Quiles a 10-8 round when I thought that Rojas was in a heap of trouble there in the 4th round, and I thought that you should separate the easy 10-9 round to score with one that the guy was really staggered. It shows something different between the round that the guy just nosed out 10-9. Anyway, the right guy got it in our opinion, as Ricky Quiles got the majority of decisions on the scorecards of Mark Streisand and Michael Pernick. There was no question about it. Mark Goldberg is in the ring, so let's go to Mark. Mark?